today we are going to expand on our knowledge about the area of rectangles and squares and explore the area of a triangle. And here are the objectives I have for us today. Number one is given graphing paper, which you have, and other manipulatives. Here are triangles and some calculators. And working in pairs, students will illustrate the relationship of two different right triangles in comparison to two different quadrilaterals, a square and a rectangle. The second objective is students will formulate an equation for finding the area inside a triangle given graphing paper and other manipulatives and working in pairs within a 10-minute explorative period. And our third one is given the length and height of a right triangle and using a calculator, students will calculate the area of one triangle with 100% accuracy. Okay? Do either one of you have questions about what our goal is for today? No? Okay. Well, then let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you guys a piece of paper, and you can look at it along with me. I'm going to read the scenario that we have at the top. The scenario we have is Brenda and Elizabeth want to paint geometric shapes on the wall of their new bedroom. They bought some turquoise oops paint at the hardware store and are interested in painting at least one triangle in this color, but are unsure if they have enough paint to cover the area with the necessary 2 coats of paint. They remember that the way to figure the area of a square or rectangle is length times height, but they have not had any instruction in finding the area of a triangle. They decide to draw some squares and rectangles, find their areas, and see if there is any relationship between these figures and the desired triangles. Before we go on, I want you to turn your paper over, and on the back, just take 30 seconds to think about some ideas that you might have, some predictions that you might have of what will happen with the relationship between rectangle, square, and triangle. Just take a couple minutes to do that. Remember, these are just predictions. Okay, have you both had adequate time to think and predict? Okay, well, let's go on with our activity. Go ahead and flip your sheet back over. Before we get too far into it, I want to make sure you guys still remember how to calculate the area of these objects. So, in your first step on your sheet, it says find the area of the quadrilaterals below. And please show your thinking. And feel free to use your triangles or any graphing paper. There is some graphing elements on your paper. But let's just take some time to do that right now. On your own, please. Feel free to use these calculators too. Please do both of them. both of you have some answers there. So let's review those real quick before we move into working with triangles. First of all, what would be the label on these? After we get the answer, what would the units be? So let's square units, because we're doing what?
Area.
We're multiplying, right? We're finding the product. All right, so Elizabeth, what did you get for the first answer?
64 square units.
Okay, and Mindy, what did you get for your answer?
64 square units.
All right, and how about your second answer? Mindy, why don't you give me your first one?
104 square units.
Okay, and Elizabeth, did you get the same thing? Okay, great. It looks like we both have the right idea on how to find the area for the squares and rectangles, so let's move on to the next step. Step 2 asks you to use your manipulatives, or you can use drawings if you prefer on your graphing paper, and find the relationship between these quadrilaterals and the right triangles. Okay? See if you can find any kind of relationship. And when you do, or if you don't, I want you to use some words to describe what you were doing in your, as you're trying to figure this out.